All right, Darksiders, how is everybody on this Monday evening? Hopefully all is well. Listen, guys, we are going to talk about Star Trek Discovery today because I just don't get the immense amount of shade that is thrown at this series. But what I did find out today is that it's not quite as immense as what I thought. So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to read some tweets from people concerning how they feel about Star Trek, and we'll respond to those tweets, and we'll read some other stuff that I found online as well, just about how different people are feeling about this series, because people tend to love it or they tend to hate it. So we're going to respond to those tweets today, you guys, and I'll share some of my thoughts on the show as well. But before we get into it, guys, I'm excited. So if you've seen any of my other videos lately, you know that I've announced our first Dark Side Movie Reviews giveaway. And I'm excited because I feel like it's a great giveaway. So hopefully it's something that you guys will find value in. So here's what we're doing. We're actually giving away two. So there'll be two winners, two $50 Visa gift cards, with the idea that you guys can take these gift cards, grab a movie with a friend, and have popcorn or dinner on me. So that's the hope with it, because there's a lot of good things coming out. We've got Thor Ragnarok coming out next week. We've got Justice League coming out. You could wait and actually use them to go see Black Panther. So we did Visa cards because we figured the Visa cards would have the most flexibility. You could literally use them and go to whatever theater you wanted to go to. So hopefully you guys find value in it. It's super easy to participate in the giveaway. Of course, you do have to be a subscriber to the channel. So if you haven't done that, make sure that you click the subscribe button. Then click the link in the description. It'll tell you exactly what to do to be a part of the giveaway, and that's it. And I will announce the winner in a few weeks. So guys, good luck. And now let's talk about Star Trek Discovery. So there's no secret that I like this show. If you guys have seen any of the videos I've done, you know that I've covered the show since it's come on, and I really enjoy the show. The show has its problems, yes, but on the whole, I really enjoy the show, and I'm happy to announce that we know now that there will be a second season of Star Trek Discovery. It has already been deemed so. So I'm excited about that. But guys, what I figured we would do today is we would actually talk about kind of some of the shade that's been thrown on this show. And we're going to look at some tweets that people have said about the show, both good and bad, some other comments that people have said about the show. And then I will respond to those comments. And I want to know what you think as you hear the comments and what your thoughts are about this show. So let's talk about some of the tweets first. And you know what? Let me get situated here, you guys, because actually I want to make sure so I'm not doing double the work. And I don't even know that I can change this now. Oh, you know what? I don't think I can. I've got to do it. Okay, that's okay. I'll have to do it later, because what I wanted to do is I wanted to actually put the tweets up on the screen as I was reading them, and I was going to try and do that all in one take of this video, but it's okay. I'll put it in later. So this is our first tweet. This tweet comes from Celestial Commander, and this is actually from a website. It's not from Twitter. And this is an earlier tweet before the first episode actually launched, but this is what they say. They say, "By no means do I hate Star Trek Discovery. However, my interest in the show has plummeted with last night's reveal. Another prequel, graphic content, no commercial-free tier of CBS All Access like Hulu. Those are three huge red flags for me. I'm sure that I'll eventually watch it, but it will not be day one." I mean, you know what? I'm not even mad. Like, some of the stuff I can agree with. Now, it does turn out that we do have a commercial-free route to watch it on CBS All Access. It's going to cost you $9 a month. That's what I'm a little bit salty about. Honestly, I wish that Netflix had got this, because I already have Netflix and they have better streamed content. So I wish all of my kind of streamed content was in one place. But you know, it's on CBS right now, and it is what it is. So, but you can get a commercial-free version in case you didn't know that. I would guess that you do. You can pay the $9.99, I believe, a month and get it for commercial-free, or like $5.99, I think it is, and get it with limited commercials. So it does have that. I'm not mad at the fact that it was a prequel. I know a lot of people are upset about that, because they want Star Trek to move forward. They're tired of going back in time, and you know what, I get that. but I'm not mad at this as a prequel because of the way that it's done. I think it's absolutely fabulous. And I think that it tells a story in fresh and exciting ways, and it gives us some background that we don't have from other series. I think it's fine. I think actually some people would appreciate the fact that it's kind of filling in some things character-wise that we just didn't know before. So I don't really have any issues with that. But honestly, yeah, like I do feel the whole aspect of wanting something new, kind of new exploration in Star Trek. I get that. Like that excites me when I hear that. So I definitely can understand that. The graphic content, it does bother me a bit. I do get how some people have said that it's too much, like the graphic content is too much, and how some people have said, you know, Star Trek was something that you could sit down and watch with the kids and really enjoy. I would say Star Trek Discovery is not a show that you can do that with. There's a lot of graphic content in the show that probably would not be appropriate for kids. So I can't get mad about that. Like I get that. I feel that. I understand that. So that is what Celestial Commander said. Actually, you know what, you guys know? Hopefully it's all right for me to give you these names and show you these tweets. It should be fine, right? It's on the internet. I mean, they're tweets. They're out there in the Twitterverse. People see it. They know who said it. So, all right. Okay, so this next one is a tweet, and this one is from Tiny Table 3, and this is what they say. Let's just say it. Star Trek Discovery is the best Star Trek series ever made. Every episode just makes that clearer. I would not say it's the best so far. If you guys have seen my other videos, you know that I'm really the biggest fan of Star Trek TNG. Star Trek The Next Generation is definitely my favorite series so far, and it still is, and mainly because of the character development, and hands down, it has the best captain within the Star Trek series universe, or within the Star Trek universe, period, and that is Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Hands down best captain. Please don't try to present an argument about Shatner or anybody else. I'm sorry. I love Janeway. Nobody touches Picard. That's just where I am with that, you guys. So I do agree that Star Trek Discovery is a really, really good series. Is it the best one? I'm still giving that to TNG for right now, but I'm digging Star Trek Discovery. I really like a lot of things about the show. All right, you guys, so let's move on to the next one. This one is from Scott Crick, and it says, another great episode of Star Trek Discovery tonight. Some great character development, and again, a great Trek feel. Thank you. So he's talking about episode 5 with this one because the date is October the 15th. You know, it's funny because I thought episode 5 was just okay. I thought it was just kind of driven to expose us to some new characters to the narrative. I wasn't overly excited about episode 5. But I will say that there was a comment made on my video. So if you get a chance to watch that one, make sure you read the comment sections. And one of the people there actually kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things I missed in episode 5, which did help me to appreciate it a lot more. But just cinematically, it didn't hit me as something that I was super excited about. But as I said, when I read their comments, I was like, yeah, I see what you're saying. And that did kind of open my eyes to some things in episode 5 that felt necessary to kind of the broader narrative as it unfolds. So but I do like the character development. I hope that that's one of the things that really drives this story, character development. I hope we see more development of Serak. I hope we see more development of Burnham. Hopefully we learn more about Lurca, who at this point, you guys, I think is either insane or just super dirty, super shifty. I do not trust that guy. I would love to learn more about Saru. We're already kind of learning more about Burnham. So I hope that Star Trek Discovery really does take a page from TNG and really drive deep into character dev, because that's what makes TNG so good to me. That's why I enjoyed that series so much. So I really hope that that's a big part of how this narrative unfolds with Star Trek Discovery. So I like it. I'd like the fact that Scott says that it has a Star Trek feel. Some people have problems with this. Some people don't like it because they feel like it doesn't have the feel of the other series in the canon. It's okay. It's okay to explore. It's okay to do something new. It's okay to have a different look, tone, feel. It's not a violation of the Star Trek canon. This is all in my opinion. If you disagree with me, of course you guys know I welcome your comments on it, but it's not. You have the Star Trek staples. You have the things that you recognize as being expressly Star Trek that make Star Trek what it is. Those things are there. I think it's nice that we're kind of exploring those things at more so the micro level, in my opinion. I think it's fine. I just feel like it's a fresh new look on on a series that has a canon that has a long history, and visually it's fine to have it that way. Visually it's fine to do a little bit of a different edge in the storytelling, as long as you're not violating the Star Trek staples in the canon. And I don't think that this series has done that. So I agree with that. All right. Daniel Walker says, only 6 episodes in and Captain oh no. Oh no. Daniel says, Captain Lurca is my favorite captain, hands down. What? Did we already not discuss that Kirk? What am I saying? Whew. You know what? I need a nap. Did we not already discuss that Jean-Luc Picard is the best captain in the Star Trek series? Enough said. Sorry, Daniel, can't go with you on that one, buddy. All right. So this next one is by Paul J. May, and it says, I like strong women in sci-fi. Ripley from the Alien series, obviously. Janeway from Star Trek Voyager. Boy, my mind. And, of course, Burnham from the current series, Star Trek Discovery. You know what? I agree with that. I like to see... one of the things I've always liked about Star Trek is how they've always really diversified, and they've dealt with issues of race, and they've dealt with different issues and things like that within the show. So I think it's cool that Burnham is in here. I like the strength of her character, and it looked like from episode 1 that they were really going to try and build this show around her. Now, as we've gotten through episode 6, I think that she will be a key figure in the show, but I do think that the show will branch out and kind of seek to really reveal other characters as being important key players in the show, and not necessarily just built around a central figure within this particular series, which I think is what we have seen in other series. Some people would argue differently, but I still think that in other series, a lot of the show's narrative has been built around a central character, i.e. the captain of the ship or the captain of the station, if you're talking about Deep Space Nine. But hopefully this show kind of branches out and does something a little bit different. If you disagree with that, which I'm sure some of you do, because I've heard people comment differently about it, then again, feel free to let's have some discussion about it. But I do like Burnham's character in this show. I think she's awesome. As a matter of fact, it made me almost want to go back and take a look at The Walking Dead, of which I've seen none of them, but I know that she's been in that show, and I really, really like her in the show. I think she's excellent. So I agree with you, Paul. All right. So Matthew Carpenter, this is what Matthew says. Matthew says, this doesn't look like Star Trek to me. It looks like another space show that doesn't make sense. So, of course, you know, I disagree with that. I mean, I just said that the look and feel of this show is great, but it's interesting to read Matthew's comment, because I think that this is a sentiment that a lot of people have, because I think that this is a sentiment that people feel because they are so woven into a certain look within the Star Trek canon. So when they see something that violates that, it's a hard pill for them to swallow. And there's no question that this looks cinematic. There's no question that when you see this, you feel the weight of the visuals in this. There's no question that when you see this, the visual look and tone of this I was about to say movie, of this series really does kind of grab you and pull you into the story emotionally. Absolutely, it does. It is very different from anything we've seen within the Star Trek canon series-wise. Definitely, there's no question about that. So to that end, I like it. I like it. I like it. It's fresh. It's new. I'm not going to belabor this point. I've said it before. I think it's fine. I think it's great. I like the liberty that's being taken here, and I think it's fine. It fits. Okay. Philip O'Reilly tweets, I'm sorry to say, as a massive Star Trek fan, but Seth MacFarlane's spoof, the Orville, looks better than that new Star Trek Discovery trailer. So this was early. This was May 17th. I have not seen the Orville. I have no idea what it's like. I'm not a big fan of Seth MacFarlane, so I don't plan on seeing it, but maybe I should see it because I've heard other people make this comment as well. I'm just not a big fan of his work. So I don't know. I really can't speak to this, honestly, and I'm not just going to sit up here and harp on it because I've not seen the Orville. What do you think about that? If you've seen the Orville, have you seen them both? And should they even be compared? Is it apples and oranges? What's going on there? I don't know. I need you to educate me on that because I have no idea. All right, Philip. Thank you, sir. Let's move on to Marty Ali. And I think this is our last tweet. Yeah, it's our last one. So Marty says, I'm okay with the new art style that Star Trek Discovery is going with. It's modern and sleek and doesn't feel dated like the other shows. So I kind of agree with this because I do feel like the other shows, they do feel dated. They do They do in some sense look dated, but I will say I might be now a little bit jaded after having a visual experience of seeing Discovery and really kind of pushing me towards that sentiment that Marty's saying about the other shows. They do feel that way, but they're still great shows. That's still why TNG is my favorite series ever. I mean, the look, the tone of it, even though it does feel dated visually, but the storytelling, the character development, all that just makes it so engaging. And even now, it's still my favorite series. You know, we'll see what happens with Discovery and how Discovery develops, but I love TNG. It's for so many reasons. I love Picard. I love Worf. All of these interesting characters that you can really just build the narrative around and just explore what happens with them outside of what happens with the crew at large while they're just kind of discovering the things going on around them. So I can understand that. So guys, those are some of the tweets that I read. There are tons more. You can get out there and look at some of them yourself. But now you get an idea how some people will like the show, some people dislike it. But I'm interested to know how you would respond to some of the tweets that we saw here. I'll try and put them up on the screen so that you can read them. If you don't see them up on the screen, it's because I wasn't able to put them up on the screen. Let's face it, it's because I was too lazy to put them up on the screen. But we did read them. So I'm interested to know what you think about this show. There are some interesting things. I do want to share this with you guys before I go. So I did have a comment on the last video, the review I did of Discovery episode 6, which was interesting because I was asking for some information about Ash, and one of the people commented and they said Ash is a Klingon. And I'm thinking to myself, what are you talking about? Ash is somebody that's going to be added to the crew, and they use episode 5 to bring him into the narrative. He's not a Klingon. But then I thought to myself, you know what? Lurca did say that he was impressed how well he was able to fight. He fought like a Klingon, and Ash's response was, well, you know, when you've dealt with them in captivity so much, you get an idea of how they fight. And that made me say, now wouldn't that be a twist if he was actually made head of security and he was a Klingon? That's an interesting thought. What do you guys think about that? Any thoughts, any feelings about that? That's good stuff right there. So I hadn't thought about that. I do want to say about Lurca, I don't trust Lurca as far as I can throw him. Let me tell you this. I'll bet. How much do you want to bet that he is in communication with one of those Klingon houses? I'll bet you any amount of money that he is in communication with one of those Klingon houses, because I think that he's slightly insane. I think that he is a little command drunk. And I think that he's just idealistic to the point where I do think that in some respects he is engaged within Starfleet, protocol and all that good stuff. But at the same time, I think that he is really out for himself because I think he's slightly nuts is really what I think about that. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what they do with that character and how long he sticks around. I'm also interested to see what happens with Burnham, if she will actually ever sit in the captain chair as a legit captain, not acting captain, but legit captain. And if they will take her finally down that route, in which case she would be like a lot of the other series captains that we've had. I kind of hope she doesn't sit in the captain's chair. I kind of hope that they free her from the restrictions of being a quote unquote Star Trek captain, because that does come with some restrictions. I like the fact now that she's a little bit rogue, right? She's dedicated to Star Trek, I guess, edicts, but you know she will do what she needs to do when she feels it's necessary. I want to see more exploration of Serak. I'm excited about that. You know, there was somebody that made a comment with one of the videos I made, the last one I made with Star Trek Discovery episode 6, where they were talking about he said he didn't like how emotional they made the Vulcans. And I can understand that, because when we think about Vulcans within the canon, we think about them as being beings that don't have a lot of emotions. I did respond to his comment, and I want to put this out there for you guys too, as well. If you're kind of thinking along those lines, you guys got to remember that Vulcans are actually very emotional beings. I mean, intensely emotional beings. They are always working to suppress their emotions, and they're actually using Serak's code. That is the code that they go by to suppress their emotions. But under the surface, these guys are very emotional beings. So don't forget that they're not born with this kind of innate ability or this innate propensity towards logic outside of emotion. That's something that they've always worked on. That's something that sorry, I heard some buzzing and it's freaking me out. That they're always working on. I think that that's one of the things that makes that character so interesting, is the fact that they're able to bridle their emotions that way. But we've seen in some of the other series, I remember the series where Serak is actually crying in TNG because he's having a hard time controlling his emotions. So don't forget that that is a part of them. So I think it'll be interesting to explore that. So I'm looking for more development around him as well. And finally, you guys, I will talk about the Klingons. You know, I'm not a big fan of the look of the Klingons. I really don't like the look of the Klingons. It's actually too much. It's too divergent from what we're used to in the canon. And a lot of people have complained about that. I do not like that. It bothers me. I do not like the fact that they are so savage. I feel like that's a little bit dark for the canon. I'm not a big fan of that as well. I talked about it in one of my other videos, and people have talked about this as well. The whole cannibalism piece I thought was ridiculous. Too much. It was just too much. So I don't know, maybe they'll grow on me as we learn more about them, but I'm not a big fan of the Klingons right now. But the story as a whole, the series as a whole, I love. I think it's great. I think it's engaging. I think it's beautifully written. I think it's beautifully acted, and I think visually it is completely stunning. One of the most stunning things we've seen so far in any sci-fi movie in a long time, and I welcome the visual impact of the show. I really think it's great. All right, guys, so thank you so much. Again, don't forget, if you are new here, to subscribe. Please make sure that you like, comment, all of that good stuff. Guys, if you have subscribed, if you're a part of the channel, make sure that you click the link in the description for the giveaway. Again, 2 movie tickets or 2 Visa gift cards worth $50 a piece for you guys. Grab somebody, go to the movies, popcorn, dinner, all that stuff on me. And it's just a way of appreciating you, my audience. And I tried to do something big and flexible that hopefully you guys would think was worth your time. So, guys, thank you so much. Don't forget to check out the other Star Trek stuff that's right here. I don't know where I'm going to put it, so I point this way because I'm not sure where I'm going to place it on the screen. But you can click that and check out some other stuff. You guys, we also do other movie reviews as well. And with that, I will see you on the next video, definitely next week when we cover episode 7. All right, you guys, later.